बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलामु अलैकुम नाज़रीन कराम। हम बैठे हैं कज़ाकिस्तान एम्बेसी में, रिपब्लिक ऑफ कज़ाकिस्तान, जो कि अब न्यू कज़ाकिस्तान है क्योंकि प्रेसिडेंट तोकाएव ने वहाँ पे आइनी इस्लाहात मुतारफ़ करवाई और वहाँ पे मज़ीद आज़ादियाँ फ़राहम की और ख़वातीन को मज़बूत किया, नौजवानों के लिए खुसूसी प्रोग्राम शुरू किए, पार्लिमान को मजबूत किया। पार्लियामेंट बहुत मजबूत है कज़ाकिस्तान में और कज़ाकिस्तान हमारे बहुत नज़दीक है। लाहौर से सिर्फ 2 घंटे की फ़्लाइट से आप अलमाती पहुंच सकते हैं और ये स्कैट एयरलाइन शुरू की एम्बेसडर साहब ने। मेरे साथ मौजूद हैं एम्बेसडर यरजान किस्ताफिन, बहुत अच्छे दोस्त हैं पाकिस्तान के, और इनसे हम बात करेंगे कि इस वक्त मौजूदा बायलैटरल कोऑपरेशन की क्या सूरत हाल है और आगे इसके क्या प्रॉस्पेक्ट्स हैं। अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
Walaikum assalam.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, good. Thank you so much for having me.
So, how is your stay in Pakistan?
Perfect. I feel, like home. And whenever I visit different regions of your beautiful country, I feel very warmly welcomed by your beautiful people.
Thank you. Ambassador, you have worked very hard for enhancing bilateral cooperation. Please shortly share the present status of trade and economic cooperation with our viewers.
In general, I must say that cooperation between Kazakhstan and Pakistan is growing, thanks to the goodwill from both sides, and especially our leaders. They meet on regular basis, and it was agreed that we need to elevate cooperation between our two brotherly nations to a new level. And I must say that when it comes to our bilateral cooperation, it is not only about economic or trade relations. It is much more our cultural relations, education, sports, tourism, so on and so forth. But going back to your question, I must say that our bilateral trade is growing. And first of all, thanks to the connectivity that we have managed to establish, 2 months ago, in collaboration with the NLC, for the first time ever, we organized a multimodal cargo transportation of goods from Kazakhstan to Dubai via Karachi seaport.
Right.
And now we have very well-established connectivity between our countries, and definitely it impacts positively our bilateral trade. We are ready to boost our cooperation in this very important field. And hopefully, inshallah, this or next year, finally, we will hit 1 billion. Inshallah.
Inshallah. And Ambassador, I know that we had a pilot project of truck trade as well. That was very successful. Our trucks from Karachi and Faisalabad, they traveled to Kazakhstan via Afghanistan and Kyrgyzstan. That is also another promising route. Can you comment on this route, its viability, and how Pakistan can benefit from it?
As of today, we have 2 main routes connecting our countries. The first one is so-called Trans-Afghan route, which goes from Pakistan to Afghanistan, then to Uzbekistan, and finally reaches Kazakhstan. Another route, so-called the Karakorum Highway, which connects our countries through China and Kyrgyzstan.
Yes.
So these are the main routes that we are using today. And again, in collaboration with the NLC, with the TCS, we finally launched delivery of different goods. For example, 2 months back, in collaboration with the Sargodha Chamber of Commerce, we organized for the first time export of quinoa to Kazakhstan.
Yes.
This month, we launched export of mangoes to Kazakhstan. So what we see is that these routes are feasible, but the main principle that we have to implement is diversification. We should establish as many routes connecting our countries as we can, in order to have different options. Because, for example, when it comes to the western part of Kazakhstan, it is much easier to deliver goods through Turkmenistan, our brothers in Turkmenistan, and then again Afghanistan. In this case, we can reach Balochistan. Balochistan is extremely important in terms of getting access to Gwadar seaport.
Yes.
So this is why nowadays we are focused on diversifying routes connecting our countries. Another options that we might also have a route which connects us through the Caspian Sea and Iran.
Yes.
So, this is in fact the reason why this year our Prime Minister decided to appoint as the co-chair of our bilateral joint intergovernmental commission the Minister of Transport of Kazakhstan.
Yes.
Because, within the next few years, our top priority will be regional connectivity. Because without regional connectivity, we cannot simply develop our bilateral trade.
Sure. Ambassador, you have the credit to start direct flights between Almaty and Lahore. How is the experience and how much successful this venture is in your opinion, and what are the prospects to enhance these operations to other cities of Pakistan as well, and what you have observed reciprocal from Pakistan? Pakistan is also considering direct flights like Scat Air or not?
So last year, as you know, we launched direct flights from Lahore to Almaty, and the flight duration is 2 hours 10 minutes,
Yes.
almost the same like Islamabad and Karachi. Now, due to the winter season, our company called Scat decided to discontinue flights, and they are planning to resume flights this year. But frankly speaking, to resume these flights, we should have talks on the facilitation of our visa regime. This is very important. But in fact, I must say the interest is growing, demand is growing, and more people are willing to visit Kazakhstan, and more people are willing from Kazakhstan to visit Pakistan. So what I see is that potential tremendous. What we need to do, we need to create a so-called friendly environment for developing our air connectivity. In fact, we have plans to connect not only Almaty and Lahore, but also we want to have connectivity with Karachi. This is very important.
Right.
So within, again, these and next years, we will be focused on developing not only land routes connecting our countries, but also diversifying air connectivity between our countries.
Inshallah. Ambassador, President Tokayev transformed Kazakhstan into new Kazakhstan with amendments in the constitution and the parliamentary system. How successful is the move so far?
From the very beginning, President Tokayev, in 2019, he announced that he is going to have a very decisive agenda of reforms with the ultimate goal to strengthen democracy in our country. So the idea was to redistribute the powers among the different branches. So the main goal was, first of all, to make our parliament strong, to give our parliament power to act as an independent player, if I may say so, and to be a crucial platform for developing our agenda, be it our foreign policy or our internal policy. Now, with regard to the government, the idea was to make our government accountable before the parliament. So this is the main formula that we have. And after all, within these 5 years, we have been implementing different amendments to our legislation, including our constitutional laws. I'll give you just one example. We have made some amendments to our constitution of the Republic of Kazakhstan upon the initiative of our president. From now on, we have a single term for the president.
Yes.
And
7 years.
Yes, 7 years. And then we introduced a ban for the relatives for the family of our president to be a part of the government or the state-owned organizations.
Yes.
So it says a lot.
Yes,
President,
it speaks a lot.
yes, president started from himself,
Yes.
not from anyone else.
Yes.
And it was the message to our society, it was a message to our government that from now on, everyone, including our president, will be accountable before our society. So the idea was another very important part of his agenda was to strengthen our civil society, to make it more viable, to make our society able to raise voice. For example, we launched online petitions. And if there are some issues which cause concerns, in our society, people can easily launch an online petition to raise this issue and to discuss it with our government. So this is, just a few examples about what have been done in terms of, moving further our, agenda of reforms, democratization, and liberalization of our society.
नाज़रीन इकराम, एम्बेसडर साहब ने अभी हमें जो बात बताई बड़ी अहम है, इसलिए मैं ये उर्दू में आपके साथ शेयर कर रहा हूँ। जो रिफॉर्म्स आई कज़ाकिस्तान में प्रेसिडेंट तोकाएव लेके आए, उनमें बहुत अहम ये है कि वो एक टर्म के लिए आएंगे, 7 साल के लिए, और उनका कोई रिश्तेदार, कोई अजीज़ जो है, कोई रिलेटिव, उसको किसी अहम पोस्ट पे तैनात नहीं किया जाएगा। ये बहुत बड़ा कदम है, न सिर्फ कज़ाकिस्तान में शफाफियत के लिए और मेरिट की बालादस्ती के लिए, बल्कि ये एक पैगाम है बाकी ममालिक के लिए भी, और उसमें पाकिस्तान भी शामिल है कि आप भी इस तरह देखें और मेरिट को आप बालादस्त करें। इसके अलावा कज़ाकिस्तान ने इंटरनेशनल सतह पे बहुत कुछ किया है। उस हवाले से हम एम्बेसडर साहब से बात करते हैं। एम्बेसडर, मोस्ट रिसेंटली Kazakhstan hosted SCO summit in Astana, and in previous few years, Kazakhstan was the host of many international forums. What was your vision of the President Tokayev? He shared in the summit in his address, and he said that we have to share the development, we have to bring peace in the members' territories, organization, as well as in the whole world. How you see the preparation of Kazakhstan for the SCO hosting, and also how was the chairmanship of Kazakhstan at SCO?
So in general, I must say that Kazakhstan chairmanship at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization was a successful one, and the SCO summit that took place at the beginning of July was a very productive and fruitful event, gathering all leaders from our region. Apart from that, for the first time, we organized so-called the SCO Plus format, inviting the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, President of Turkey, President of Azerbaijan, Mongolia, so on and so forth.
Qatar.
Yes. So the main idea of our president is to develop a dialogue. Even despite the fact that some countries still have conflicts, still have misunderstanding, we do believe that a dialogue is a backbone for stability in the region and far beyond. This is the reason why Kazakhstan is advocating from the very beginning of our independence for multilateral cooperation, for developing and strengthening multilateral dimension. This is extremely important. And the SCO summit was another example of Kazakh successful agenda in this term. A number of very important strategic, I would say, documents have been adopted during the SCO summit, including, strategy on development of the SCO, on our economic cooperation, on our, fighting drug trafficking, and many other issues, which can be and should be implemented and which can be addressed only through collective measures. We should understand a very simple thing. Nowadays, our international community faces a number of challenges that cannot be addressed alone by any country in the world. With all my due respect with, to major powers of our world today, even this country, they cannot. Climate change. Your country suffered from devastating floods 2 years back. This year, my country suffered from floods. In Kazakhstan, we had great floods. It was one of the great challenges that we faced during our independence. And we do believe that such kind of issues, such kind of challenges as climate change, terrorism, extremism, drug trafficking, human trafficking, these challenges can be addressed and these challenges can be resolved only through our collective measures.
Yes, collective.
This is the reason why we do believe that multilateral approach and multilateral organizations can and should play a very crucial role.
श्योर नाज़रीन कराम, यहाँ पे एक हम मुख्तसर वक्फा लेते हैं और दोबारा हाजिर होते हैं। हमारे साथ रहिएगा। जी नाज़रीन, वक्फे के बाद आपको दोबारा खुश आमदीद कहते हैं। हम बैठे हुए हैं कज़ाकिस्तान एम्बेसी में और हमारे साथ हमारे दोस्त, पाकिस्तान के बहुत अच्छे दोस्त एम्बेसडर यरजान किस्ताफन हैं। और वक्फे पे जाने से पहले हमने बात की SCO में जो किरदार रहा कज़ाकिस्तान का चेयरमैन के तौर पे और जो बड़े बड़े इंटरनेशनल फोरम्स किए कज़ाकिस्तान ने, और उसके बाद आखिर पे उन्होंने बात की क्लाइमेट चेंज की कि अब तक पाकिस्तान 2 दफ़ा इससे मुतासर हुआ, अब कज़ाकिस्तान मुतासर है और हम मिलकर आगे बढ़ सकते हैं। तो अभी पाकिस्तान की बात चली है तो हम बायलैटरल पे आ जाते हैं पाकिस्तान कज़ाकिस्तान के ऊपर। Ambassador, what opportunities Pakistani students, especially medical students, have in Kazakhstan? What is the status of Kazakhstan medical universities at Pakistani Higher Education Commission?
So in general, I must say that today we have something about 2,000 students from Pakistan studying at our universities, mainly at our medical universities. Now we want to develop a systematic approach. And this is the reason why I met several times with the chairman of the HEC. And then we organized his online talks with our Minister of Higher Education. The idea is to engage our relevant authorities to develop a dialogue in this term. So the main purpose is to create, I would say, a friendly environment for Pakistani youngsters studying at, in our universities. And frankly speaking, apart from medical universities, we have a number of very good, technical universities, law universities, so on and so forth. So we will be more than happy to, to welcome our brothers and sisters from Pakistan to study at our universities. So now we are working on 2 dimensions. The first one, as I said, we want to develop cooperation between our relevant state bodies,
yes.
the HEC and the Ministry of Higher Education. The idea is to establish a joint working group on education and youth affairs. And the second dimension is focused on developing direct interaction between our universities. Again, the purpose is to develop so-called the academic mobility, students exchange, faculty members exchange, to bring our universities closer. It will help in terms of better understanding of what can be done for strengthening our cooperation in education.
Sure, inshallah. And the next question is about energy. And Kazakhstan is an energy-rich country, while Pakistan is badly deficient nation in this regard. What are the prospects of cooperation from Kazakhstan side in this sector, as we have some agreements with like Kasa 1000 with Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Afghanistan, like TAPI we have with Turkmenistan. What is the status between Kazakhstan and Pakistan regarding energy especially?
So this is another, I would say, unexplored area for our bilateral cooperation. In fact, back in 2020, we have established a joint working group on energy. And this year, we are planning to organize the first ever session of our joint working group on energy to discuss possible prospects for developing cooperation in this very important field. And I met with Minister of Energy of Kazakhstan. I met with the Minister of Petroleum, Dr. Musaddiq Malik, and we discussed this issue several times. Dr. Musaddiq Malik himself visited twice Kazakhstan. He met with his counterparts, and we agreed that we need to, first of all, we need to explore what we have in Kazakhstan to offer to our brothers in Pakistan and what Pakistan can do in this term. So I hope that this year we will finally have this first round of talks, and then we will see what can be done. But frankly speaking, I believe that there is a tremendous potential for developing cooperation in this term. I will stress on this very important point that cooperation between Kazakhstan and Pakistan is a complementary one. You have what we need, and we have what you need. So it's not about competition. It's about supporting each other. And I do believe that energy sector can contribute greatly in terms of strengthening ties between our countries.
Yes, sure. Ambassador, what are the prospects of Kazakhstan in CPEC to join and connect with Pakistani ports? In the past, a few months ago, you said in a seminar in Islamabad that Pakistan is welcome to join Trans-Caspian corridor as well. You have commented some detail in the first question, but here regarding CPEC and regarding North-South corridor, regarding Trans-Caspian Sea, Trans-Caspian corridor, Pakistan's joining with these connectivities, you can comment more for our viewers.
You know, as many experts say today, regional connectivity is the name of the game. It's a backbone for developing cooperation in any area. If we want to develop our trade, if we want to boost our trade, without connectivity, it's simply impossible. So I believe that our Chinese friends, our Chinese partners, they clearly understood these things many years ago. In fact, in 2013, when President Xi Jinping was visiting Kazakhstan, in Astana at Nazarbayev University, for the first time ever, he announced this idea of One Belt, One Road. And CPEC is a very integral part of the One Belt, One Road initiative, as well as Kazakhstan is a part of this very big, infrastructural mega project. And nowadays, something like 70% of trade between China and the European Union is done through Kazakhstan. So they deliver goods through Kazakhstan, the Caspian Sea, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Turkey, and finally they enter the European Union. Now, when it comes to different international transport corridors, such as you mentioned, Trans-Caspian, North-South, CPEC, I believe that the more, as I said, routes we have connecting our countries, the better would be for our regional cooperation, for our regional prosperity. And for example, Afghanistan can be an integral part of this very important cooperation, and it will be a win-win situation. It will be mutually beneficial. It will be beneficial for the countries in the region, be it CPEC, be it the Trans-Caspian International Transport Corridor, be it North-South International Transport Corridor. So this is the reason why our president stressed several times that developing and strengthening transit and export potential of Kazakhstan is of utmost importance for our government. And this is why, for example, 2 weeks back, we organized a conference dedicated to the regional connectivity at the Akhtar seaport. All regional, our neighbors, regional players were a part of this very important gathering, and they discussed different issues with regard to connectivity. And again, I'll give you another example. They had trilateral talks between Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, and Afghanistan, with the main purpose to get access to Gwadar seaport. So this is the reason why I'm saying that we have to develop a regional approach. A regional approach is a backbone for developing cooperation, including cooperation between Kazakhstan and Pakistan. So this is why these routes, all these routes, can play a very important role in terms of strengthening and boosting capacity within the region.
Yes, sure. Ambassador, for connectivity and for enhancing cooperation, relations, and understanding, the culture and knowing each other, language, they are very much important. What commonalities you see between Kazakhstan and Pakistani people?
I must say that in December we held the 12th session of our Joint Intergovernmental Commission. And as the outcome of these very important talks, we signed an MOU on culture, on developing cooperation in culture. Within the last 3 years, we've been focused on developing our cooperation in the cultural dimension. For example, in collaboration with the NAML and with Kazakh National University, we published a phrase book, Kazakh Urdu phrase book. Because when it comes to our languages, we have so many things in common. When I say biyaz, dastarkhan, chaykhana, qagas, rahat, so on and so forth, all these words are common.
Also Astana.
Astana, yes.
Astana, you know, in our country, there are, on lighter note, I say, we have thousands of Astanas. You know, Astana is a place where a peer, saint, have his followership, and your capital is Astana. So Astana itself is very much common.
And then your cultural heritage. Again, when I visit, Lahore, whenever I visit Lahore, I always feel this, connectivity with what you have in your beautiful cultural capital. Because, in fact, our regions cooperated for centuries. Central Asia and South Asia, Mughal Empire, and I believe that there is a great legacy of Central Asia here in Pakistan.
Yes, sure.
And this is another example of an evidence of how close we are to each other. So whenever we discuss cooperation between our countries, I always stress that it's not about developing cooperation, it is about reviving those relations that we used to enjoy in the past. It is about reviving those relations between our nations that we had in going back in our history. So this is the main idea. The main idea is to reconnect and to revive.
Sure. Last question, Ambassador. Kazakhstan is hosting Nomad Games in September. Please share short details about the games. What are the games? And you may find many players of these games in Pakistan as well.
So at the beginning of September, we will be holding the 5th World Nomadic Games. In general, we expect about 100 countries participating in this event with more than 2,500 athletes in total. So it will be a huge event. And why Kazakhstan is holding and organizing this event? Our civilization, Kazakh civilization, is a part of nomadic civilization. And the idea is to preserve our traditions, our heritage, even in terms of sports. We have different national sports, horse riding, archery, kokpar, eagle hunting, so on and so forth. And by the way, I want to stress that there are some national sports in Pakistan which are very similar to ours. And again, this is another evidence that we have so many things in common. And of course, we invited our dear friends from Pakistan to participate at these nomadic games, and we wish success to your team.
Inshallah. Thank you, Ambassador. Many thanks for your time. एंड नाज़रीन इकराम, काज़ाख़स्तान पाकिस्तान के मामलात पर हमने बात की। काज़ाख़स्तान पाकिस्तान के बहुत ज़्यादा करीब है। काज़ाख़स्तान लैंड लॉक्ड है लेकिन लैंड लिंक्ड भी है, और काज़ाख़स्तान एक ऐसा मुल्क है जो ख़ित्तों को और ममालिक को और बरे आज़मों को आपस में जोड़ता है। और काज़ाख़स्तान का दिल बहुत खुला है, जैसे कि उसकी जो ज़मीन है वो बहुत खुली है, बहुत बड़ा मुल्क है रकबे के एतबार से, उसी तरह उसका दिल भी बहुत बड़ा है। तो इसके लिए हमें भी अपनी साइड से कोशिश करनी चाहिए, क्योंकि दो तरफ़ा ताल्लुकात जब बढ़ेंगे तो काज़ाख़स्तान और पाकिस्तान दोनों के अवाम के दरमियान जो है वो खुशहाली आएगी। हमें दीजिए इजाज़त, अपना रखिए बहुत सा ख्याल। अल्लाह निगहबान।